Have you ever felt like your family was too much to carry? You let your parents' call go to voicemail again. Every visit home leaves you quietly exhausted. Somewhere along the way, conversations with your partner turned into nothing but logistics. And some nights, the more you think about your children, the harder it is to breathe. You know in your head that family is precious. Of course you do. But somehow that very thought, I have to treasure them, starts to feel like a weight pressing down on your chest. And you can't say it out loud, can you? That your family feels heavy. If you did, people might think you were cold, ungrateful, wrong. But I want you to know it's okay. Feeling this way doesn't make you a bad person. 2,500 years ago, someone felt exactly the same way, and they went to find the Buddha. It happened one afternoon. The Buddha was resting with his disciples beneath the wide shade of a great tree when a middle-aged farmer came running toward them, breathless and drenched in sweat. Let's call him simply a farmer from the countryside. He had wide fields to tend, aging parents at home, a wife, and 3 children. The farmer knelt before the Buddha and spoke, "Teacher, am I someone who is incapable of loving his own family?" The Buddha looked at him quietly, without a word. The farmer continued, "My father grows older by the day and calls for me constantly, always with some complaint. My mother's health is failing and needs my constant care. My wife blames me every night for our finances, and my children, they do as they please and never listen to a word I say." Tears were forming in the farmer's eyes. I find myself wanting to be alone, wanting to walk away from all of them. And then I feel utterly ashamed for even thinking it. The Buddha was silent for a moment. Then, gently, he spoke. "Farmer, in your fields many things grow, do they not?" "Yes, rice, wheat, beans, vegetables, all kinds." "And do they grow exactly as you wish them to?" The farmer shook his head slowly. "No, some years bring drought, others bring floods, insects come, crops fail, things rarely go the way I hope. When that happens, do you hate your fields?" "No, I don't hate them, I simply adjust. I change what I do depending on the season and the year." The Buddha smiled softly. "Is your family not the same? The bonds that brought them to you, you did not plant those seeds. They simply took root through conditions beyond your choosing. When things don't go as you hoped, there is no need to resent them. And when you are worn out from trying to control what cannot be controlled, there is no need to blame yourself either." This story carries within it one of Buddhism's most essential teachings. The first is the idea of conditional bonds, what Buddhism calls en. In Buddhist thought, the connections we form with others do not arise from our own will alone. They emerge when countless conditions come together, overlapping in ways we never planned. The relationship that grows from that convergence, that is a bond born of circumstance. And family is perhaps the clearest example of this. None of us chose our parents before we were born. None of us placed an order for the specific child we received. Even the meeting that led to a lifelong partnership was the product of countless small accidents falling into place. In other words, family is a relationship where things not going according to plan is built into the very foundation. The second teaching is the Buddha's concept of suffering, or dukkha. This word doesn't simply mean pain or sadness. At its heart, it means things not going the way we want them to. That is the true nature of suffering. We carry, often without realizing it, a quiet image of what our family should be. We want our parents to stay healthy forever. We want our partner to truly understand us. We want our children to grow up whole and strong. These wishes are not wrong. They come from love. But the moment those wishes harden into "this is how it must be," that is when we begin to suffer. The Buddha used the image of a field to speak to the farmer. The field doesn't obey you, but no farmer hates his field. In a dry year you adapt. In a wet year you adapt. Family is no different. When things don't go as you hoped, you don't need to resent them. And when you can't make things turn out right, you don't need to punish yourself. You simply adjust, season by season. This willingness to loosen our grip, to release our attachment to how things should be, is the heart of what the Buddha offered that day. It is the teaching he left us for how to live alongside the bonds we did not choose. So how do we bring this teaching into our daily lives? The first thing is this: give yourself permission to feel the weight. When family feels heavy, most of us try to suppress it. We tell ourselves we're not allowed to feel that way, but the feeling is already there. It has already arrived, and when we put a lid on it, it only presses harder. Try simply saying to yourself, "Right now, my family feels like a lot to carry." That's enough, just naming it. Acknowledging it doesn't mean you're abandoning anyone. It doesn't make you a cold or selfish person. It simply means you are being honest with yourself about where you are. And somehow, just doing that, something in you begins to breathe again. The second thing is to take inventory of your expectations. Without realizing it, we stack layer upon layer of expectation onto the people we love. A mother should say something like this: "My husband should be able to sense how I feel. My child should understand what I've sacrificed for them." Those shoulds, they carry enormous weight. Try writing them down sometime. Every expectation you hold toward each member of your family. You may be surprised how many appear on the page. Then look at them, one by one. Is it fair to ask this of another person? Is this something I could find a way to offer myself? You don't have to release all of them, but if even one or two of them dissolve, if you can say, that was just something I assumed, your relationships will quietly begin to shift. The third thing, know that distance is not the opposite of love. Many of us carry the belief that family means always being close, always available, always fully present. But think of the farmer in his fields. He doesn't stand in the soil every hour of every day. There is a time to sow, a time to water, and a time to simply step back and wait. The same is true in family life. There are seasons when the most loving thing you can do is create a little space. Distance is not abandonment. In fact, it is often only from a little distance that we can finally see clearly the kindness in someone that our closeness had been blocking, the effort they were making all along that we were too close to notice. If there is just one thing I hope you carry with you today, let it be this: family is a bond you did not choose. And because of that, it will not always bend to your wishes. Because it won't, there will be times when it hurts. But within that unchosen, uncontrollable relationship, something remarkable lives. A mirror. The people in our family reflect back to us parts of ourselves we might never see anywhere else. Sometimes that mirror is unkind. It shows us things we'd rather not know. But perhaps it is precisely because of that mirror, uncomfortable as it is, that we slowly, quietly grow into who we were always meant to become. On the days when your family feels like too much, that is not proof that you are cold. It is proof that you have been showing up, trying, caring, perhaps more than you realize. The fact that you are still here, still reaching toward them, still trying to find a way, that is enough. You are enough. Thank you so much for being with me until the very end. I look forward to sharing another story with you next time.